Girl. Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and for today's video I figured it would be fitting if I did a makeup look with the Classic Blossom KKW Beauty palette in honor of all the collections of hers coming out, the Sapphire collection, the matte collection. There's like a smoky palette with that. There is a brown taupey palette, I don't really know, but there's two matte palettes that came out recently along with lip liners and lipsticks. So in honor of that, I feel that doing a makeup look with one of her palettes that I already own seemed kind of fitting, and I may or may not do a video or like a review with those new palettes, but we shall see. If I do, maybe, I don't know. But I already have my base set, my eyes set and prepped, so I think we should just dive in. I believe that this palette has already been out for a little while, but it also retails for $45 for those of you that are interested. I did purchase this with my own money, so before anybody thinks anything, it'll also be in the description box below, just stating that in case you skim the video. But yes, so I purchased this with my own money. It retails for $45 US, and this is the Classic Blossom palette right here. It's got some very pretty shades, some shimmers, some mattes. I use a majority of the shadows in these palettes that she has. I believe there's 10 in each palette. It's also kind of irritating that the shade names are not on the front. They're kind of just on the back of the palette, but nonetheless, I do like the aesthetic of the palette. I like that there is a mirror in here. $45 for 10 shades is pretty steep, but I do quite enjoy these palettes though. I think it was the KKW Mario collaboration palette that made me really enjoy these. But with all that being said though, let's just jump into the video. So first, I'm going to take my Morphe 505 brush right here. Just this tapered blending brush right here, and I'm going to dive into, I honestly can't correlate the shadows with the names, so I'm just not really going to say those shadow names. I'm going to dip into this taupe shade, which is on the top part of the palette, but from your view it is the bottom part of the palette. It is this taupe shade right here. I'm going to lay that as my base, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to both sides, but I'm going to take this shade here and kind of just press it in and then kind of buff it towards the top, and then I'm also going to dive into this pink shade right here and buff that on the outer edges of this shade. So we're just gonna do that. Alright, so now that I've done that, I think to deepen the look up, I'm using my MAC highlighter palette just to cover the mirror so it doesn't reflect. I'm going to dive into this shade here and kind of place that where I placed the first shade, right in the same places, just to kind of darken that up. And I know this look, my cat is, she needs attention. This look will be pretty mauve-y, purple, like purpley. So this look is pretty much going to be very like berry toned kind of mauve. That's kind of what this palette really is about in the color story. My cat is just gonna, girl, leave. So the color story of this palette is basically mauve, berry tones, and I actually quite enjoy it. And typically I don't think berry tones look really good on me in terms of lipstick, but I think this palette has kind of made me think otherwise about those tones on my skin. Now I'm gonna dive into this deeper cherry shade just to deepen that up a little bit more. Same placement, just gonna add more dimension, and I'm using the same brush for everything here. So just placing it on the inner and outer third of the eye, and then we're gonna hit it with a darker shade here. But this is just gonna gradually darken this up. And because I do like to use the majority of the shades in a palette too, to see how versatile it is and just to see how most of those shadows perform. I don't just want to use 2 or 3 shades and go, oh, it's perfect. But I have used this palette a few times, so I do quite enjoy it. I also do kind of want to put it out there. And so if I use a palette that I own like one of like this palette right here that I have that I purchased with my own money, if I ever use it and I'm doing a tutorial or just a video on a specific look, like I'm not reviewing the palette, usually I like it, and majority of the videos that I hope to put out in the future are all products that I do like, not products that I'm just using to use. If it's a review and I'm using the palette for the first time, like a first impressions, then that would and probably should be the only time that I would ever use a palette that I own, that I didn't buy just because I like it. Like I'm trying to review it and do it for the first time with you guys. So I'm also going to go ahead and jump into that shade and do it on the same side. Inner and outer third. My Morphe 330 brush right here, and I'm just going to take this softer pink in the palette on the bottom, and I'm just going to use that and kind of lightly buff out the edge here on this look, just to soften it up so it doesn't look super harsh. If you hear any meowing, it is my cat, Ditto. Alright, so now we're going to dive into that deep plum shade here. It has a little bit of sparkle in it. Hopefully you can see that. I know I'm pretty close to the camera now. I'm still going to use that Morphe 330 brush, take that deep shade, and I'm going to put it on the inner and outer part of this eye look. I'm going to go ahead and do it to both sides. And I will do that to both sides. She's back. Back again. Alright, I think that's as good as we're gonna get with this. I'm gonna take my JH42 brush right here. I'm gonna spray it down just a little bit. I'm using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist right here. And I think I'm gonna dive into this shade right here, this shimmer kind of cherry shade. It's just the shimmer version of this, I'd say. I'm gonna take that and put it on the outer part of the crease that we cut right here. Now that I've done that, I'm gonna take the slightly darker shade. It's kind of more like a copper creamish kind of a color. And I'm going to take that a little closer, same brush, and take it just a little closer to the inner part of the eye. Just a little. And work that right in till there's just a little bit of room left for our last shade. Same thing on the other side. Just pat it right in. And keep it concentrated just on the inner part, but make sure you're blending and marrying those two shades together. And then last shade is this nice little champagne color right here, just above. And we're gonna take that same brush, make sure it's wet, spray it down, and then take that shade all the way to the top. And I'm gonna take it just along the curve of where I cut the crease. And then take it down. I don't know about you, but I really enjoy these palettes. Something about them, I don't know, but I think that it's really hard for me to be pleased by a product that has both packaging and performance. Not that these are revolutionary palettes, but they do perform. Thought they would when I first played around with them. Really enjoy it. So same brush, I'm going to take that same shade and take it to the inner part of my eye, just to have a little bit of highlight. Blend it in, same shade, take it to the under part of the brow. And she's back yet again. She's trying to massage my legs with her claws. Take it to the far end of the brow, just like that. So now that I've got that done, I think you need to move. I'm gonna take that deep cherry shade that we used right up here, and I'm going to take it to the lower lash line and mix it with that deep shade. Oh, girl! I'm going to take that cherry shade and that deep shade, the two darkest mattes in the palette, and take it to the lower lash line, starting with the cherry shade. I'm just going to lightly feather that in and take it to the bottom, all the way to the tear duct. And then once I've done that, take that deep shade and just pack it on the outer edge. Just like that. Same thing to this side. So now that we've completed the eyeshadow, I'm going to come back with liner, lashes, and we will come back and review this look. Alright, so this is the final look with a lip added, everything else finished with a little bit of end lashes or wispy cut lashes there. So I'm actually going to go and dive into my Hyper Real Glow MAC Highlighting Trio. Take my highlighting brush like usual. This is the rose gold Morphe brush from that rose gold collection that does not have a number. So I'm going to take the first two shades in the palette and then just hit the cheekbones very lightly, tip of the nose, and all the usual places that I would highlight. And then I'm going to spray just for good measure. Still using that Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. And for the lip, off camera when I finished everything, I used the Kylie Cosmetics KOKO collection liquid lip in Doll, and mixed a little bit of the UOMA Beauty Black Magic lip in the center to give it a nice metallic, bright, vibrant lip. And I created this look using the Classic Blossom palette by KKW Beauty. Well, this is the final look that I came up with. I know I tend to do cut creases. I'm so bad with it, but my eyes are so hooded and there's just so much space, so why not? I'm gonna go in. But this is the final look, like I said. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, most of all, if you want to see more videos from me. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.